Welcome back to Pure Science Education. Today we'll be looking at chromatography. This comes up at KS3 and GCSE curriculum. As in the previous videos, you have so far looked at evaporation, filtration, simple and fractional distillation, which are all the different techniques used for separating mixtures. Let's focus on paper chromatography. There are different types of chromatography, but that's the one we'll be looking at today. So, if you had a selection of different pens, have you ever wondered what ink that might have in there? Is it one color or a range of colors? So let's have a look inside a pen. So, as shown in the diagram, we have got three different dots, A, B, and C. Each dot was started off by being placed on the paper, and then being put in a solvent. They have been separated into different colors. So when you do chromatography, the first thing you start off with is a chromatography paper, and in the chromatography paper, so you start off with your paper here, you then have your line, and then you put the dots of the color that you want to separate. Let's call it A and B, and then you will have your solvent here, and it's really important that you do not soak the paper, and it's just barely touching the bottom of the paper, and the colors will separate and rise as shown in the diagram here. So in this diagram, it shows you what happens when they separate and come out into different colors. So if you were to look at A, B, and C, you can see all three of them are mixtures of colors, because not a single one has got one spot. So that makes sure tells you if they're a mixture of separator or one color. If either of them had just come out with a single color, then I was showing it will be a pure color and not different mixtures. So like I said, you have a chromatography paper where you put the line pencil line. It's really important that this line is a pencil line and not a pen line, which is a common question in GCSE. Do you know why? And the answer is, if you was to put a pen line in the solvent, then that will smudge, but the pencil line does not smudge. That's the reason. Now, you will see there's something called a solvent front. The solvent front is how far the solvent travels up the chromatography paper, which we will use to calculate the RF value in a minute. Different substances have different solubility. The more soluble the color is, the further it travels. The least soluble, it doesn't travel as far. Let's look at, if you was to identify an unknown substance, what can you do? So if you look at this diagram here, I have got my same solution as above, but this time I have got different numbers. So originally this was my pencil line, and here you can see my solvent front. So what I want to do is get a ruler and find out how much has each of these color raised from the original pencil line. Now, how can I find out if I have an unknown solution, unknown color, what it is? So you can use paper chromatography to identify unknown. The way you can do that is by calculating something called the RF value. Again, something that will come up at your GCSE exam. Now, RF value is a value that can be calculated by using a formula. RF value is equal to distance moved by color or spot divided by distance moved by solvent. So in this diagram, as you can see, if you was to look at red and calculate the RF value for red, then you will just do 2 divided by 10. which is 0.2. RF values do not have units, and so on. If I then carry on for purple, the RF value of purple, RF value is 6/10, that gives you 0.6, and so on. Now, when you got the RF value, you need to then go and look at in something called a data book. If the sample has been analyzed previously, you will get an RF value in the data book and you can identify the unknown. If the substance you're looking for has never been analyzed in the past, you will not get an RF value in the data book. What you need to do in that case is use more different techniques and use the RF value and then find out what that unknown substance is. So this practical for paper chromatography also comes up as part of your required practical in GCSE. So you will be told to set up one of these and have a look at them and calculate RF values. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and like.